Indonesian President Joko Widodo has left Australia after his meeting with the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. The PM hosted Mr Widodo in Sydney yesterday, the two discussing green energy and new visa rules which will make it easier for Indonesians to travel to Australia. Australia will also work with Indonesia to prioritise strategic cooperation on manufacturing of electric vehicle batteries.
Our countries continue to choose to draw closer together as economic partners, as security partners, and as partners in the global transition to net zero.
We want the Indo-Pacific to become a stable and peaceful region that focuses on collaboration and concrete cooperation.
Joining me now is Foreign Affairs Assistant Minister Tim Watts. Thank you for your time. Starting off on this topic, is it the most underdone diplomatic relationship we have, given the size and proximity of Indonesia?
Well, Tom, I think I'd say that it's impossible to overstate the importance of Indonesia to Australia, to our economic prospects, to our security prospects. And the way I would look at it is that it's an opportunity of, it's a relationship of opportunity. So we know that Indonesia is on track to become one of the largest economies in the world, on track to become the fourth largest economy in the world. But it's not even in our top 10 trading partners. So we recognise that there's a need for a big investment of effort as a nation in deepening this relationship, and that's what we've seen between Prime Minister Albanese and Pak Jokowi in the last few days. We know that Prime Minister Albanese made Indonesia his first priority bilateral visit as Prime Minister, brought a business delegation over there to try and deepen the economic trade relationship. And one of the things that he heard loud and clear on that visit was the importance to smooth people-to-people travel between our countries. And the visa arrangements that were announced as a result of this bilateral meeting are an important practical down payment on deepening this relationship.
So on those arrangements, it obviously makes it a lot easier for Indonesians to visit Australia, to return visit to Australia here, to stay here longer. We've got a lot of different visa rules in place for different countries. Presumably there are reasons for that. Did Labor work with the Department of Immigration, ask why this was in place, these sort of restrictions, and if there was a risk in changing these rules?
Well, Tom, let me say, under the previous government, there was no rhyme or reason to immigration policy with any country, let alone with Indonesia. When we came into government, the average visitor visa from Indonesia was taking a median of 60 days to process, and we've got that down to 7 days now, and we've got business visas down to just 3 days. That's the kind of priority investment and priority focus that we need on a relationship of this importance. As I say, this was an issue that the Indonesians raised with us when we prioritised this relationship early on in the Albanese government, and we've taken practical, concrete actions to deepening this relationship to try and realise the enormous economic potential that is right on our doorstep.
The waiting times that you state there seem crazy, but they're not the only changes. So just on the other changes, did you clarify with relevant departments about any potential unintended consequences about changes made?
Well, of course, we've got a joined-up approach to government, Tom. So we've not only increased the investment into the Department of Home Affairs to ensure that this visa system is actually working for the people using it, not just the people coming to Australia, but the businesses in Australia and overseas that rely on it. But also we've had specific initiatives as a result of this bilateral agreement. So a new business visa extension for 3 to 5 years, a frequent visitor visa arrangements, making that available to Indonesians. That would be a 10-year visa viability arrangement to really promote the intensity of contact that we want to see between the people that are making the trade and investment relations between our countries. You know, the two-way goods and services trade between Indonesia and Australia hit a record of $23.3 billion last year, and that's great. But we've got so much further to go, and it's not just the strength of the relationship between the leaders that will take us there, although that is obvious. It is concrete measures like this that will realise the opportunity.